This problem is telling you that on average an indoor cat lives to 13 years old with a standard deviation of 2.4 years. And it's telling you that your distribution is normal, but you won't be using a standard normal distribution because your mean isn't 0 and your standard deviation isn't 1, which is what they are in a standard normal distribution. So since it's not standard normal, these are not going to be 0 and 1. Right here, your mean goes here, and your standard deviation goes here. And this would be the case for standard deviation, but since it's not, they're going to be different numbers. So right here, it's telling you that your average here is 13, so that would go right there. And it's telling you that your standard deviation is 2.4, so that would also go right there. And if you were going to be using GeoGebra for this, then it's important to make sure that your mean and your standard deviation state exactly what the problem states. So you would have to plug that in right there. They had a mean of 13 and a standard deviation of 2.4. And once you put in that, notice how your x's are all going to change, and it looks like they are also going up by 2.4 the further you go on, and it states that 13 was their average. And notice how 13 is the highest point on this distribution. So in this problem, it states that they want to find the probability that it's in between 8.7 and 9.7, so you would be using this part right here. So 8.7, 9.7, and press enter, because notice how your answer changed right there, and it told me that the probability between those two x's on there is 0.048. So in the question, it asks you what the middle 30% of the numbers lie between. And so in order to find the middle 30%, what I would do is draw the distribution, and you already know that the middle of it is going to have 50% of the data. So what I would do is just fill it in. 0, this has 10% of the data, 20, 30, 40, and then there's 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now you want to find the middle 30%. So, but the data is split down the middle right here. So in order to find the middle 30, you're going to have to split this number in half, because this is also split in half. So 30 divided by 2, and that is 15. So that means that you're going to go 15% this way and 15% this way to get your percentiles right here. So 50 minus 15, that means that your low point is going to be P35. So 35 right here, and then 15% that way, that is going to be P65. So if we shade that in, that tells us that our middle 30% lies in between these two numbers. But since these are only percentiles, I'll be using GeoGebra to find out what x values these numbers lie at. So going back to GeoGebra, I said P35 for my low, and notice how this is back in x's, and I'm changing the area because I don't know what the x is. So once I put the percentile that I want, enter, I get this, and it tells me that my 35th percentile is 12.0752. Now in order to find my highest, I said that my highest was P65, so my 65th percentile, 0.65, and then I got And that tells me that my x for that is 13.9248.